When I was about 15, my friend was talking about a Ouija board and saying how it worked. I'll call her friend one. I didn't think that shit like that existed. I heard stories and stuff, but I wasn't fully convinced. Even though my whole life I was told not to mess with one by religious family members, I didn't believe and I was curious, so I suggested that we try one. One night it ended up happening. I was with friend one and friend two. I was so nervous that it would actually work. It was around 2 in the morning. We were in my dining room, which is basically just an extra room we didn't use. We had a dim light that dangled above the table. All three of us put our fingers on it and asked if anyone was there. It slowly started to move towards yes. Friend two took her finger off because she was scared, which kind of made me scared since she broke the rules. But I also thought it was all just a bunch of bullshit. We all asked each other, did you move it? All of us said no. I felt chills go down my spine. We put our fingers on and kept playing. We asked what its name was, and it said that it was friend one's dead mom. We all looked at each other. We asked how old it was, and it said the age my friend's mom would be. We figured it was just a spirit pretending to be her mom because that's what they do when they want to get out, right? Then we just kept asking it questions that it wouldn't know. Like, how tall is this person? What color is this person's hair? How old is this person? They got every single one right. We started to get really freaked out, so we stopped. We said goodbye, and I'm not sure if it did. Every now and then, my three friends would play it, and it was never all four of us. Just me and two other friends, but they would alternate. It said some other really weird thing. One time we were talking to a spirit and we asked what his name was, and it was just a bunch of jumbled letters. I didn't know what it means, but anyway, after a while we stopped doing it. But after we did it, weird shit started happening in my house, like in the kitchen, which is right by the dining room. You would be in the fridge or something, you could hear freshly washed silverware clinking together, even though no one was in there. Then me and a friend were trying to go to sleep. It was around 3 a.m. It was dead silent. Then we both hear a loud noise and look at each other because we won't distinguish what it is. It sounded like something dragging. Then it clicked. I knew exactly what it was. It was the dining room table. I knew because I moved it before, so I knew the sound it made. It was very distinct. It was a wooden table on tile floor, so it made this really loud, bumpy sound. Anyway, no one was in there when it happened. My mom was on the opposite side of the house. Our dogs were with us. So the only thing it could have been was a cat. And I don't think a cat could move the table. It was a hard move. And it happened twice. So, yeah, that really freaked me out. I started to feel like I was being watched and shit. I know one of my friends felt the same way. I woke up once to someone or something whispering my name in the middle of the night. I thought it was my mom trying to wake me up, so I went to her room, but she was sleeping, so I woke her up and asked if she was trying to wake me up, and she said no. I had her walk me back to my room, so I couldn't turn my lights on because I was so scared. I don't know if it was just a crazy experience. Did anyone have any feedback or explanation? This past summer, me and my friend were on a spooky kick, scary movies, sleepover games, midnight rituals, just a bunch of stuff to freak us out. The ending of this kick was, of course, to play with a Ouija board. We bought it, then went over to her friend's house because she was house sitting and it was empty. We arrived, looked up rules, lit candles, and followed everything the internet said to do so. At first, we weren't getting anything. We were both wishful thinking, and I think we were subconsciously moving in at first. It was going really slow and not making any sense. So we looked up what to do if nothing was working, and it said to take a break and come back to it. So that's what we did. When we came back, as soon as we did, the board started answering our questions. I'm a former self-harmer and have a suicidal past and things like that. The first thing that alarmed me was that it said there were 13 entities in the room with us. I asked how many were bad, and it said 12 out of 13 were bad. Oh my God. The second thing was that it spelled out my last name. I kept asking what about it, and finally it answered that they liked me. I asked why, and it said you bleed, which I instantly just knew they were talking about the self-harm, which was terrifying. So we stopped, said goodbye and everything, and took another break. We came back and I asked if there was something that I should know. It proceeded to tell me a very huge secret that my friend was keeping from me. And she tried to stop. When she did it, gave me even more details about what happened. We stopped then because neither of us could handle it anymore. We threw the board away in the McDonald's dumpster and tried not to think about it. About 2 weeks later, the board was back and in my friend's mom's backseat. What the fuck? No idea how it got there. My friend knew nothing of how it got there, and her mom didn't know we did it because we were getting huge trouble. After playing with the boy for about 2 weeks, after I constantly felt being watched and this deep, heavy feeling walking around in my house, I heard noises constantly. One time my phone glitched and distorted the voice on the other hand, then shut off. A bang went off by my face one night that sounded like someone punching the wall as hard as they could. And hearing noises in the cupboard and opening it to find cups and bowls flipped over completely all on the side. All of this went away though, and I rarely feel things, although sometimes that heavy feeling comes back. So I played this game years ago when I was about 14 years old. My best friend at the time, Melissa, and I decided to play the board. We lit some candles and proceeded to play. We put our fingers lightly on the planchette and asked if someone there. It replied yes. We then asked, "What is your name?" It replied Gina. We then asked, "What do you want?" It started to write CHE, then slowly made its way to L. At this point, I noticed it was starting to spell out my name. From the L, the planchette began to go toward the S. I threw my hands up and started to cry. I 110% trusted Melissa. This girl was my best friend, my ride or die. But I was so scared at this point I had to ask Melissa, "Did you move it?" She promised me she wasn't moving it. I believed her then and I still believe her. So after I called my mom. My mom is super religious. She calmed me down and said a prayer. My mom then said my sister wanted to talk to me, so I get on the phone with my sister. She heard me talking to my mom and wanted to talk to me about her experience playing the Ouija board. My sister then began to tell me how she was also contacted by Gina when she played years before me. My sister then asked if I talked to my older sister yet about this. I had not. She told me to call my older sister and talk to her about it, so I did. My older sister had played this game before me, and my older sister had played. She was too contacted by a girl named Gina. However, my older sister actually stayed and talked to Gina, and she had played this game. My sister then told me how Gina had passed away. Gina had a very similar childhood to my sister and me. I won't go into details about hers or our childhood, but it wasn't the best. The fact that my sisters and I all played the game on different occasions, with different people, and were contacted by the same person makes me know that this is not just a game. Since that day, I have never and will never play the Ouija board. I know it is made by Milton Bradley and their game company. However, in my experience, the Ouija board is not a game. It is not something to be played with. If you are reading this and have not touched the Ouija board, don't. Please do yourself a favor and don't.